The summer after the college entrance exam, I received 3 pieces of bad news. My family went bankrupt. Su Jin, the boy I'd been chasing for 3 years, got together with his childhood sweetheart. And just as I'd expected, I bombed the exam. My dad sold our villa in the city center, and we moved back to our old family home in the countryside. After that, I cut off contact with everyone and enrolled in a cram school to retake the year. A year later, I received an acceptance letter from Baekeng University. A few days into the semester, I ran into a former high school classmate in the cafeteria. She was just as surprised to see me, Su Jin. I turned at the sound of my name, and a familiar face walked toward me. "It really is you," Chang'ai said with a smile, holding her food tray. "Are you by yourself?" I heard her and nodded. She then turned and said something to 2 friends waiting in line beside her, before finding a spot to sit down with me. She was genuinely shocked to see me here. "I saw your side profile at first and couldn't believe it was you." Chang'ai had always been a social butterfly in high school, very cheerful and outgoing. It was just that back then, my world revolved around Su Jin, so I hadn't interacted with her much. "By the way, what happened to you? You just disappeared. We couldn't even reach you for the graduation dinner." I gave a small smile. "My family went bankrupt, so we moved back to our hometown. My phone was stolen around that time, too." "What?" Chang'ai said I'd had it rough, then immediately pulled out her phone to add me on WeChat. After we finished eating, I was heading to the library, and Chang'ai walked with me. Several times, she opened her mouth to say something, only to close it again. I was curious what could make this girl so hesitant. "Why are you hemming and hawing?" Chang'ai scratched her head, smiling sheepishly. "You won't think I'm being nosy, will you? Have you been in touch with Su Jin this past year?" Hearing his name, which once had the power to stir my emotions at any given moment, now felt like hearing about someone from a past life. "No. I actually think it's a real shame about you two. I used to ship you guys so hard." "No, not just me, the whole class did." Perhaps it was the earnest look on her face, but I couldn't help but laugh. "He didn't like me. You were shipping the wrong couple, my friend. If you'd shipped him with Song Yunyun from the class next door, that would have been a sweet story," I added silently. "No way. Do you know how godlike and aloof Su Jin was back then? And so handsome. So many girls in school wanted to chase him, but none of them dared." She gestured wildly, her eyes shining. "But you dared. You'd call his name so sweetly every day, ask him to eat, wait for him after class. Wow, watching you two interact was my only source of fun during our senior year. To everyone else, he'd just give a cold hem or got it. But with you, there was always this sense of helpless indulgence. And whenever a teacher called on you, Su Jin was always there to clean up your mess. It was the sweetest thing ever." I kept a smile on my face. Talk about laying it on thick. Back then, I was constantly giving him my warm attention only to get the cold shoulder, following him around like a shadow he couldn't shake. All he felt was helplessness. Chang'ai really was a true shipping captain. She was still going on about it, reluctant to stop, even as we reached the library. "You, I'll get going then. Let's keep in touch on WeChat." "Bye." I waved at her, smiling. "Bye." That evening, when I returned to my dorm, my roommate Zhang Han was doing a face mask. She pointed at a box of macarons on my desk. "You, someone who said she was a high school classmate of yours dropped these off for you." I walked over and took out my phone, intending to message Chang'ai. A message from her popped up as if she'd anticipated it. "Don't you dare refuse. These were the graduation gifts I prepared for the whole class. I'm just giving you yours today." After a moment's thought, I sent her a thank you sticker. The reply was almost instantaneous. "You, should I add you back to our high school WeChat group?" My hand froze over the screen. The boy's cool, handsome face flashed in my mind. It had been so long. He had a girlfriend now. There was nothing for me to be afraid of. "Okay." A few seconds after I sent the message, a notification showed that I had been added to a group chat. Immediately, a few people in the group started flooding it with questions and expressions of surprise. "Is that really Su Jin?" The dorm room door opened, and my other roommate came back. She tossed her damp bag on the floor, complaining, "Why did this stupid weather have to start raining out of nowhere? Couldn't it have waited until I got back?" "Jinyu, I'm going to take a shower." "Okay, go ahead. Don't catch a cold," I replied. "You got it." By now, many classmates had popped up in the group chat. I quickly typed, "It's me, Su Jin. Oh my god, what happened to you? We couldn't contact you at all, you scared us to death." "Yeah, seriously." "Me, sorry, everyone. My phone was stolen back then, and it took me a long time to get a new one. Hey, as long as you're okay. Jinyu, I heard your family went bankrupt. Is that true? I stared at the question and blinked slowly. Yeah. After that, the group fell silent for a moment. Someone quickly broke the silence. That's all in the past now. Are your classes busy? If not, we should all get together sometime. Let me send you a screenshot of my schedule. It's inhuman, worse than high school. Wow, I can't relate. I have 2 days of class and 3 days off. I opened the group members list. Su Jin's profile picture was still a Hello Kitty. A question suddenly popped into my head. Didn't Song Yunyuan make him change it? I don't know what possessed me, but I tapped on his profile. His Moments feed was empty. He probably set it to private for me, I thought. You, Zhang Han walked over, wrapped in a blanket. I flinched and quickly flipped my phone face down. Luckily, her attention was on the macarons, and she didn't notice my movement. Can I try one of these macarons? She smiled sheepishly. This brand is really good. I smiled and opened the box for her. Go ahead. As she ate, she said, by the way, Yu, are you free next Wednesday? Want to go to a volunteer event with me? I'm free, sure. Great, I'm heading to bed then. Thanks for the macarons, beautiful. When I picked up my phone again, the screen showed a notification. The user has accepted your friend request. It was Su Jin. My eyes widened. Then a message came through from him. What's up? Oh crap. He probably thought I was trying to bother him again. I hesitated, wondering if I should tell him I'd tapped by mistake. On second thought, that seemed like a bad idea. Group ad. After typing that, I grabbed my clothes and went to take a shower. Whatever, he had a girlfriend now. What could I possibly be thinking? On the desk, my phone screen, which I hadn't locked, showed the typing indicator from him for a long while before a single word came through. Okay. Time flew by, and soon it was Wednesday. Zhang Han and I collected our volunteer vests and headed toward the basketball court. Zhang Han could barely contain her excitement. Ah, thank God we were quick enough. We finally snagged the most coveted volunteer gig. We get volunteer hours, and we get to see handsome guys. And this time, the other school is the University of Science and Technology next door. I looked at Zhang Han and narrowed my eyes. Giving up on your club president so soon? Of course not, I'm just spreading the love. We finally arrived at the huge basketball court, which was already filling up with people finding their spots. Zhang Han and I put on our vests, and she started looking around. Afraid your club president is here, I nudged her, teasing. She gazed toward the entrance of the court, then wagged a finger at me. Nope, I'm looking for handsome guys. Then, she grabbed me and turned my head toward a group of people walking in, all dressed in matching black and white basketball uniforms. When my eyes landed on the boy who stood out from the crowd like a crane among chickens, my pupils dilated, and my heart began to race uncontrollably. At the same time, I heard Zhang Han's excited voice in my ear. See that guy in the middle with the raspberry red hair? Isn't he gorgeous? I'm telling you, he's definitely their campus prince, drop dead handsome. After all this time, I never thought I would run into Su Jin here, nor did I ever imagine he would dye his hair such a bold color. I didn't dare to look at him as openly as Zhang Han did. I could only steal a few quick glances. He seemed to have changed, yet he also seemed the same. He had dyed his hair and gotten an ear piercing, but his eyes and expression were as cold as ever. But when my gaze shifted down to the girl by his side, I completely lost the courage to look at him again. The girl was Song Yunyuan. She was wearing a simple white dress, quietly following Su Jin. Hey, Zhang Han nudged me. Is that girl his girlfriend? I've heard people from the university next door say there's a girl who's always with Su Jin. It must be her. Zhang Han pouted. She is really pretty, though. Then she changed her tune. But you're still prettier, Yu. At that moment, I deeply regretted agreeing to volunteer with Zhang Han. Not only were we positioned right across from them, but our bright red volunteer vests were also incredibly conspicuous. When I didn't answer, Zhang Han got even more animated. That girl is beautiful like a lotus flower emerging from the water, but you have this bold, radiant kind of beauty. The first time I saw you and your figure, I was practically drooling. More and more people were arriving, and the two of us volunteers were just standing there. Zhang Han, completely unrestrained, was getting more and more excited. Girl, if you keep talking, we're going to get reported. I helplessly pushed down her hand as she tried to put it on me. Then, Zhang Han started giving me a look. At first, I didn't know what she meant, until Sheng Chengfeng came jogging toward us. He pursed his lips and smiled at me. Jinyu, Are you volunteering here? Zhang Han had disappeared at some point, leaving me alone in the awkward situation. I nodded in response. Sheng Changfeng had been pursuing me since the start of the semester, even though I had clearly told him I wasn't interested. He just did as he pleased. I saw a shadow of my former self in him, and I think I finally understood what a nuisance I must have been to Su Jin back then. Well, wait for me after the game, and we can get dinner together, okay? Before I could refuse, Sheng Changfeng smiled and ran back to his team. My mouth hung open as I speechlessly watched him leave. Zhang Han, who had reappeared out of nowhere, said in a sing-song voice, "You know, I think Sheng Changfeng is pretty great. Such a persistent young man." Meeting my murderous glare, she quickly zipped her lips. I hung my head in resignation, trying to figure out how to get through this long day. Zhang Han leaned in close to my ear again. "Hey, do you know that handsome guy from the Science and Tech University? Why has he been staring at you this whole time?" Hearing that, my heart skipped a beat, and I quickly looked up. Su Jin was sitting in his seat, leaning back slightly. His face was expressionless, but his upturned, peach blossom eyes held a storm. "Don't tell me he's fallen for you too." Zhang Han gasped, covering her mouth. I was genuinely scared of what she might say next, so I quickly covered her mouth with my hand. "Don't talk nonsense. He has a girlfriend." "MMMPH?" She blinked, her words muffled as they escaped through my fingers. "His girlfriend isn't as pretty as you." A whistle blew, and the game officially began. Su Jin's red hair was particularly striking on the court. Combined with his superb dribbling and passing skills, he drew endless screams from the girls in the stands. My gaze inadvertently drifted to Song Yunyuan across the court, holding a water bottle. The girl's eyes were overflowing with adoration, sparkling like stars. Watching her, I couldn't help but remember a friendly basketball game between our school and the one across the street. As soon as school let out, I dragged my desk mate at the time, and we rushed to save seats, carrying the water I had prepared for him. As the crowd grew, my desk mate and I secretly congratulated ourselves on our cleverness. Su Jin back then was just like he was now, the center of everyone's attention. I clutched the water bottle, waiting for him to look over so I could wave. My desk mate couldn't stand my expectant look any longer. "I'll save your spot. Go say hi to him." Overjoyed, I put the water down. But before I could take a step, I saw Song Yunyuan walk toward Su Jin with a bottle of water and a brilliant smile. The players had their own designated seating area. I stood frozen, watching as Song Yunyuan naturally sat down in Su Jin's spot. A sharp whistle pulled me back to the present. I looked at the court in a daze, seeing a group of people crowded around something. Song Yunyuan also rushed over anxiously. I don't know when it happened, but suddenly Su Jin was being helped to his feet and brought right in front of me. Song Yunyuan was beside him. When she saw me, her expression froze and her mouth fell open in surprise. Su Jin was panting, his face flushed and covered in sweat. He bit his lip, his dark eyes fixed on me. One of the players said, "Excuse me, can you take us to the infirmary?" I nodded. The moment I turned, I don't know if it was my imagination, but Su Jin seemed to glance at me with a look of grievance before his eyes dropped dejectedly. The infirmary wasn't far from the basketball court, only a 2-minute walk. Song Yunyuan and I stood outside. She smiled faintly. "Have we met before?" "I don't think so." I lied without batting an eye. I glanced inside, then heard her say to me, "Thank you for your trouble. I can take it from here. You can go." "Okay." I answered so readily that a flash of surprise crossed her face. By the time the basketball game ended, it was almost dark. Having been on our feet all day, Zhang Han and I just got takeout from the cafeteria and ate in our dorm. Oh God, even with all the eye candy, I'm still exhausted. Zhang Han collapsed into her chair as soon as she got back and turned on the air conditioner. I had just opened my food when my phone rang. I glanced at it. It was an unsaved number. I immediately declined the call. The next second, it rang again. I chewed my food, thinking it was probably the same number. I answered it, but the other end was silent. Cursing them for being a psycho, I hung up. Zhang Han asked, "Who was that? Why didn't you answer?" "I don't know." I picked up, but no one said anything. Probably one of those scammers collecting voice recordings. In a surreal dream, I was back in my first year of high school, the year I first met Su Jin. The boy, wearing a loose-fitting school uniform, was on stage giving a speech as the student representative. A gentle breeze lifted the fringe on his forehead, and just like that, he walked into my 15-year-old heart. "Su Jin, just be with me. I've been chasing you for so long." This was the second year of my pursuit. I I sat beside him, propping my chin on my hand, gazing at his side profile as if mesmerized. As usual, Su Jin ignored me, as if the test paper in his hands was more interesting than I was. I wasn't annoyed. I shamelessly leaned closer, inhaling the fresh, clean scent from him. Just think about it. I poked his firm arm lightly. He didn't budge. I remembered the first time I touched him, he nearly fell out of his chair. I had smiled so hard my eyes crinkled, thinking he was just shy. The boy sat ramrod straight, truly not sparing me a single glance. I pouted and complained, "I'm telling you, I'm so pretty, and tons of guys are after me. If you don't seize this amazing opportunity, maybe one day I'll have a change of heart, and I definitely won't like you anymore, Tilda." At my words, Su Jin's hand paused. My heart leaped, thinking I had finally succeeded. But then the boy sighed softly and said, "Zia Jinyu, focus on your studies. I really don't like you." You should try. How do you know you don't like me if you haven't even tried?" I retorted anxiously. I wanted to say more, but Song Yuanyuan's gentle voice came from behind us. "Su Jin, are you leaving?" Su Jin glanced behind him and grunted, "Yeah." I panicked and grabbed his arm. "You don't like me, is it because you like her?" For once, Su Jin showed a rare expression toward me, a frown. "Don't talk nonsense." If Su Jin had said back then that he liked Song Yuanyuan, would I have continued to pester him? I think I definitely would have stopped liking him, but he didn't say that, so I kept on liking him. Thankfully, I didn't have to like him for another year, because there was no next year for us. College life was full of free time and activities. Compared to the dullness of high school, it was truly vibrant. On my way back to campus after tutoring some kids, I had an accidental encounter with Sheng Changfeng. He scratched his head, looking a bit guilty. "What a coincidence, running into you here." The Sheng Changfeng before me was so much like the Zia Jinyu of the past, who had tried so hard to accidentally run into Su Jin. This time, I smiled at him. "Have you eaten?" "And no." "My treat then," I said. "The place up ahead is pretty good." Sheng Changfeng tried to make small talk. "Oh, you like Northeastern cuisine too? I quite like it myself." While we waited for our food, Sheng Changfeng tilted his head and asked me what I liked to eat, which city was my favorite. Sheng Changfeng and Su Jin were polar opposites. Sheng Changfeng had a bright, sunny kind of handsomeness, while Su Jin was cool and aloof. I looked at him and smiled. "You know, you right now are a lot like I used to be." His animated gestures paused. Then his eyes lit up, and he replied obediently, "Really." I took a sip of water and told him softly, "I used to like a boy a lot. Just seeing him made me happy. I'd never been so eager to go to school, and on any day off, all I could think about was how I wouldn't get to see him. I chased him for 3 years, and for those 3 years, I truly believed he would end up with me. But the truth is, in those 3 years, that boy never once liked me back." When I finished, Sheng Changfeng's brow was furrowed. He was a smart guy, he knew what I was trying to say. "So, Sheng Changfeng, I don't want you to waste your time on me. I'm not looking to be in a relationship right now." He asked me, "Is it because of that guy? Do you still like him?" His question gave me pause. Did I still like him? I pressed my lips together. Honestly, I don't know. The food had arrived, steam rising from the dishes. Sheng Changfeng looked at me and said, "Then can we be friends? I don't want to lose the chance to even be friends with you because of this." "Okay," I said. After dinner, he walked me to my dorm building. From a distance, I saw a tall, slender figure standing under a tree. As we got closer, I saw it was Su Jin holding a paper bag. The moment he saw me with Sheng Changfeng, his face went pale. Sheng Changfeng looked down at me and asked, "Is that him?" I gave him a silent look, which, to Su Jin, must have looked like we were whispering secrets. I told him to go on ahead. Su Jin strode forward to block my path, his voice laced with a panic he himself didn't expect. Where were you two?" He didn't dare ask what our relationship was, afraid of hearing an answer he didn't want. If a classmate or a friend had asked me, I would have said, "We went to dinner." So that's what I told him now. We went to dinner. Su Jin's eyes stung. He had hoped I would snap back at him, "What's it to you?" At least that would prove I still cared. "For you," his throat felt tight, his voice hoarse. "I remember you used to love the desserts from this place." I forced a smile and shook my head. "I don't like them anymore. They're too sweet." "Is it the desserts you don't like?" he asked. "Or is it me you don't like anymore?" At his words, I looked up at him. His eyes were red-rimmed, as if I had abandoned him. But we had never been anything to each other, had we? The evening breeze blew gently past us. Students came and went, and a few couples lingered downstairs, cuddling, reluctant to part. I don't like either anymore, I said softly. Su Jin reached for me, his body trembling. Is it because I was too cold to you before? That's why you don't like me anymore. I'm sorry, please forgive me, okay? Give me one more chance. I actually started liking you a long time ago, but I didn't know it was like back then. By the time I realized it, it was too late. You had cut off contact with everyone. I went to your house, I asked our homeroom teacher, I asked every classmate who knew you, but they all said they didn't know where you went. Tears fell from his eyes, his gaze filled with despair. I couldn't find you, Su Jin. Hearing him say he liked me, I didn't know what to feel. Was I happy? Not really, I just felt a little sad. Why did he have to wait until I had already given up on him to say he liked me? I pulled my hand from his grasp and took a step back, my own eyes stinging. Don't come looking for me again. He opened his mouth, looking down at me, his peach blossom eyes misty and utterly pitiful. Finally, he lowered his head and stepped aside to let me pass. Do not place your love on a cliff, for it is too high to reach. When I first read that, I applied it to me and Su Jin. A phrase popped into my head, to pull the untouchable flower from his pedestal. But later I thought, how could true love be placed on a pedestal, so high up that it can't be felt? That's just too tiring. Song Yunyuan found me just as I was leaving the library. She gave a small smile. Your roommate said you were here. Can we talk? At the coffee shop, Song Yunyuan looked at me and, after a long moment, laughed. Do you know what my first impression of you was? I shook my head. Annoying. She smirked, stirring the liquid in her cup with a spoon. You lived so freely, you were pretty, and your family was rich. You had everything, yet you still had to come and compete with me for Su Jin. My parents favored my brother over me, so Su Jin's mother raised me in her home. I fell in love with Su Jin the first time I saw him. I carefully hid that love in my heart, not daring to show even a hint of it. But you could so openly express your love for him. Her hand tightened unconsciously. Why? Her smile turned bleak. I really hated you. You were confident and I was insecure. And in the end, even Su Jin fell for you. I thought that moment's post would make you give up on him for good. You had already lost contact, so why did you have to show up here again? I listened quietly as she spoke. She looked down, her voice thick with emotion. I thought you had won him over with time, so I thought if I just did the same as you, stayed by his side, accompanied him, I would definitely be with him. But it didn't happen. After he started university and lost touch with you, he became even more withdrawn. Besides classes and basketball, he poured all his energy into the lab. No matter how hard I tried, he never gave me any response. She said, Su Jin, do you think I'm a clown too? I said, you like him, you pursue him. That's all it is, nothing more. She laughed until she cried. I couldn't tell how many emotions were hidden in her tears. When we paid and left, she said, Su Jin, he really, really likes you. I glanced down at her and walked out of the coffee shop. Su Jin, who had been leaning against the wall a second before, immediately walked over, a nervous look on his face. What did she say to you? Ever since that last time, Su Jin had started following me around. Whenever he didn't have class, he would come find me. I turned my head to look at the boy in front of me. He was wearing the sleeveless t-shirt I liked, his muscles firm and smooth. His current expression was exactly like a friend's little puppy dog. After I started university, I haven't had contact with any other girls, I swear. Except for the senior girls in the lab, but that's for academics. Then he pointed to his flamboyant red hair. I told you last time, my roommate forced me to diet. I suddenly remembered what Song Yunyuan had told me. I asked him, if it hadn't been me chasing you for 3 years, if some other girl had chased you for 3 years, would you have liked her too? At my words, Su Jin's breath hitched. He reached out and touched my hand, then held it tight. I don't know, but before you, and after you, many other girls pursued me. I always rejected them directly, without giving them any chance. He saw me frown and quickly added, the first time we met, you told me you liked me, and I didn't reject you. I thought back to our first meeting. After the opening ceremony, I dragged my friend through the crowd to find him. Many girls were pretending to walk by just to be near him. He was standing under a tree, waiting for his friend. I immediately went up to him and introduced myself with a wide smile. Hi there, classmate. My name is Su Jin. Zia as in summer, Jin as in, Jinyu's Jin, and Yue as in, Jinyu's Yue. He had his hands in his pockets, a hint of impatience in his eyes, and didn't say a word. My love-struck brain at the time just thought, he's so cool. You should remember my name. We'll be seeing a lot of each other. Su Jin. I persisted, my eyes crinkling into a smile. Listen up, I like you and I'm going to pursue you. After saying that, I immediately ran away. Well, there's the truth. It wasn't that he didn't reject me, it was that I didn't give him a chance to. I didn't want to talk to him anymore and turned to leave. Hey, are you angry? He quickly followed, saying, Can you tell me what I did wrong? If you don't tell me, I won't know how to change. If you tell me, I'll definitely change. Everyone said the ice prince of the University of Science and Technology was completely tamed by a freshman girl from next door. He had to report in before doing experiments. He would pester the girl to go out with him, and they had to eat together every day. In our senior year, Zhang Han asked me, So when are you two getting married? Su Jin, who had come over to help me move some things, happened to overhear. He smiled at Zhang Han and said, It should be very soon. We'll send you an invitation. You got it. In the car, Su Jin leaned over me, his tone dissatisfied. When are you going to take me home to meet my future in-laws? I'll take you when I take you. I smiled at him. 3-year observation period. I was really wrong. If I could go back to high school, I'd kick myself a few times. Serves me right for being so arrogant. Su Jin pointed at himself, acting it out vividly. He made me laugh. His eyes darkened, and he cupped my face and kissed me. I'm going to your house tomorrow with all my assets to propose. In his junior year, Su Jin started a game company with a friend. He provided the capital, and his friend provided the technical skills. The company gradually grew. That day at my house, he and my dad went outside. When they came back, my dad was very happy and said our families should meet sometime. I tilted my head at him. You've got some moves. Of course, my father-in-law is very satisfied with me. He whispered near my ear, a little smugly. Our wedding was set for September. Su Jin stood on the stage, his eyes filled with joy and tears as he looked at me. Holding my father's hand, dressed in a pure white wedding gown, I married the boy I had set my heart on at 16. Epilogue 10. When did Su Jin stop sending me messages? When did the silent nights stop being filled with her cheerful voice messages? By the time I noticed, I had run to her house, only to find it empty. I stood blankly at the door. The familiar sight of her home made my heart clench. I asked all her close friends, but they all said they didn't know where she had gone. As a last resort, I asked our homeroom teacher. The teacher told me she hadn't done well on the exam, but didn't know where she was going to retake the year. The last message on our WeChat chat was one I had sent her. I like you. For the entire summer, it was as if she had vanished into thin air, cutting off contact with everyone. She was really gone, just like that, detached from my world. I had never imagined what life would be like without Su Jin, because deep down, I always believed she would keep liking me, keep being with me. But I had overlooked the fact that Su Jin was beautiful and had a sunny personality. With or without me, she would live a good life. The first snow of my freshman year of university came especially early. I remembered she was always afraid of the cold, but loved to play in the snow. During a heavy snow in our senior year, right after an exam, I was walking down the stairs. In the open space in front of the Confucius statue, many students were gathered, building snowmen. I searched the crowd for Su Jin's figure. Finally, at a corner, the girl suddenly jumped out, looking up at me with starlit eyes and a smile. Did I scare you? In that moment, I had a sudden urge to pull her into my arms. To this day, my eyes turn red with regret for why I was so cold to her back then. The vast white snow covered the earth, pure and magnificent. Su Jin, I miss you again. I don't even know when I started to fall for Su Jin. At first, I was truly resistant to her barging into my life under the guise of pursuing me. She seemed to have boundless energy every day, curious about everything, like a little doll. In our first year of high school, we weren't in the same class or even the same building. After she came to find me the first time, she quickly became familiar with the route. Whenever I was writing and my desk mate hadn't left yet, she would obediently find an empty seat and sit down. She was pretty and could chat with anyone. Back then, I didn't even know where the anger came from. As soon as she sat down, the boys in front would wait for her to talk to them. I shoved my books into my bag, stood up with a bit too much noise, and walked out. The next second, she immediately chased after me. Su Jin, why are you leaving so early today? My tone wasn't very good. What, am I leaving too early? Is it getting in the way of you talking to other people? After I said it, I regretted it. Was my attitude too harsh? But then she broke into a wide grin, her eyes curving into crescents. She leaned in and asked, Are you jealous? You like me, so you don't like me talking to other people, right? My steps faltered. I pursed my lips and didn't answer her. But if she liked me so much, why did she disappear on me? Su Jin, do you miss me? A guy in my dorm made his girlfriend angry. After trying to appease her for a few days, he finally went and bleached his hair silver. The next day, they made up. Our other roommate asked him how he did it. He said smugly, "This silver hair stands out in a crowd. My girlfriend is nearsighted and has an astigmatism, and she hates wearing glasses. She always pretends to ignore me. HMPH, so I dyed my hair a brighter color so she can't ignore me." So that same day, I went and got my hair dyed raspberry red. I didn't know what I was thinking, but I wanted to seize every possible chance to make her see me. On the way back, I passed by an earring shop. I suddenly remembered her propping up her face, enviously looking at girls with pierced ears. But she was afraid of the pain and didn't dare to get them herself. As she thought about it, she reached out mischievously to pinch my ear. After I dodged, she said, "Su Jin, you're so handsome, you'd look even better with an earring. Go get one, okay? I'll buy you earrings, you'll look so cool." At the time, I just thought she was being whimsical. Why would I ever get my ear pierced? Later, when I came out of the shop, my right ear was a little sore. "Su Jin, I got the piercing. When are you going to buy me earrings?" I had imagined our reunion. Maybe she would run up and throw herself into my arms, or maybe she would have a boyfriend. But when she finally, truly appeared before me, she was talking and laughing with her friend, so vibrant and alive. But she only glanced at me once from across the crowd and never looked my way again. My heart twisted in pain, and another guy ran over to talk to her. What were they saying? An unfamiliar jealousy surged from my heart. After the game started, she still didn't look at me. The old Su Jin used to come only for me. I lost my strength and fell to the ground. When my teammates helped me over to her, I admit, I did it on purpose. But she just glanced at me, and I couldn't see the overflowing worry in her eyes like before. My eyes stung. Had she really given up on me? Later, she left without a single word of concern. When I got back, I got her number from Chang'ai. I sent a friend request without hesitation. At that moment, my mind was racing with what to say. Should I demand to know why she hadn't contacted me for so long, or why she hadn't shown any concern just now? But did I even have the right to ask any more? The first time she called, she hung up. The second time, she didn't say anything, and I didn't dare to speak either. I was scared. That time I saw her walking back to her dorm with another guy. My mind went blank. She said she didn't like me anymore. I frantically grabbed her hand as if it were a lifeline, just hoping she would give me one more chance. This time, it would be my turn to chase her. Later, I asked her many times if she had really been prepared to give up on me. She would raise an eyebrow. After the college entrance exam, I felt like it was impossible between us. Lying beside me, fast asleep, I held her and kissed her again and again. Thank God, I found her again. The night before our wedding, I snuck over to see her. She smiled a little shyly. "Go back. It's not like I'm going to run away." I looked at her slightly flushed face and wrapped my arms around her. "Even if you run, I'll find you. No matter what, I'll always find you." She breathed softly, her small hands restless on my chest. What do you think would have happened if I hadn't applied to Baekeng University? Meeting her curious gaze, the corner of my mouth lifted. Amidst her gasp of surprise, I picked her up and walked toward the bed. Then I would have waited for you, looked for you, until I finally found you and married you. In love, do not place your love on a cliff, for it is too high to reach.